Hi everyone, so in this video let us try to understand the concept called output in Python. So before trying to understand the concept called output in Python, let us try to understand the concept of print statement or the print function. Here the print function is used to take the input data and produce the output to the user. So let us try to see more examples regarding this print statement, because understanding this thing in theory is of no use. So let us try to see more and more examples regarding the print statement and different formats of print statements in this video. Here in this first example, we can see that I am trying to pass a value hello world, which is a string, to the print function. The print function takes the string data and tries to produce the output as it is, because the main aim of passing the string to a function is to print the string as it is. So now let us try to see few more examples regarding the print statement. Here in this line, I try to initialize the value 10 to a variable s. So when I try to print the variable, we can see the output 10 here, which means the variable here which is replaced by its value. So we can see that the 10 as output. So when I try to print the type of s, as I said previously, the type of function is used to return the type of value that is stored in the variable. Here when you try to see this print statement, I pass it the value type of s, which means I'm trying to print the type of the variable s. We can see that the corresponding output for that statement is class int, which means we can see that we stored the value 10, which is an integer, in the variable s. So let us try to understand few more examples. Here when you see this line, I'm trying to initialize a variable s1 with the value str of s. Here str is a function which takes input data like this and tries to produce the string version of input data that is given to the str function. So when you try to observe that, here the value s is passed to this str function. Internally what will happen is that the value 10 is now stored as a string in s1, whereas in s the value 10 is stored in the integer format, whereas in the variable s1 the value 10 is stored as string format like this. So okay, now let us try to print the value of s1. When I try to print the value of s1, we can see that the output, and here we can observe that there is no difference between these two outputs. But when I try to print the value type of s1, here we can see that the type of s1 is string, whereas the type of s is integer. So this is the main difference between string and integer. In the output they might appear same, but when you try to observe the type of the both variables, you can see that they are of different types. Okay, now let us try to see few more examples. Here when you try to observe this statement, here I am passing two values to the print function in this statement. The first value is a string and the second value is an integer. Here when you try to observe, as in the previous case, the string will be printed as it is. Here when you try to observe, as in the previous case, the string, that is the value of s is a string which is printed as it is. But the variable s, which is an integer, is replaced by its value. So that is 10. So we can see that we can pass multiple values to a print function. We can pass multiple values to print functions separated by comma, and they can be of different types. Here we can see that the first value is string type and the second value is integer type, and the output is produced like this, the string type followed by the integer type. So now let us try to print the same statement. Here you can see that I printed the same statement, but by using the different technique, that is, here we have passed only a single value to this print function. It may appear like we may pass in the two values, but internally we are passing the string values. Here the plus acts as concatenation operator. So what does concatenation mean? So concatenation is that when you try to take two strings, that is string 1 and string 2. So when you try to concatenate them by using the plus operator, internally what will happen is that the two strings are written side by side. That is, one string is concatenated or joined with the another string like this. So this is what happen when you try to concatenate two strings. So in the same way, here when you try to observe this statement, here the value of the s enclosed between two double quotations. That means this is a string. Whereas when you try to see str of s, as I said previously, this str function is used to convert the value passed to it as a string. So this is also a string value. So when I try to concatenate these two string values by using the plus, which is concatenation operator, as I said in the previously, these two strings will be joined. So when you try to observe the output for this print statement, here the value of the s's and the 10, which is a string here, which are joined together. So in this way we can also print the above statement in Python. So now let us try to understand more about concatenation. Here, when you try to see this example, A is equal to Aman space, which is enclosed between single quotations, which is a string, and B is equal to CSC, which is also enclosed between a strings, and this is this another string. So when I try to do C is equal to A plus B, which means I am trying to combine the variable A and B by using the plus, which is a concatenation operator. So what will happen? So when I try to combine these two variables, internally what will happen is that these two variables are joined together like this. So the space is also considered as a string because this is enclosure between the strings, because it's enclosure between the single quotation. So this space is also considered as a string. So that's the reason we got the output like this. So what will happen when I try to remove the space? So when if you try to remove the space, the AB values would be like this: Aman plus CSC. The AB values would be like this. So when you concatenate these two values by using the plus concatenation operator, then we will get the output like this. So now let us try to do this in the form of code. So here now I remove this space and let me try to execute this statement. So now when I try to execute this statement without any space, we can see the output has changed like this: Aman CSC without any spaces. So this is what called concatenation in Python. Here when you try to see, we initialize the variable c with the value 2, which is an integer value. Here when you try to see, we initialize the value d with the champ, which is an string value. Here when you try to see, we initialize the f with 34 point something, that is which is a float value. And here when you try to observe the h, we initialize the value h with the boolean value. Here in this print statement, I have passed all four values separated by comma. As I said, we can pass multiple values to the print statement and get them printed. So here I passed the four values separated by comma to this print statement. I executed this statement. We can see the output here. So these four values have got printed separated by space. So in this way, we can pass multiple variables to the print function to get printed, and the variable type is not considered when you try to print the multiple variables at the same time.